Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, one of the most successful games of all time, sold over 30 million copies by 2016, and that was before a number of additional ports and re-releases came out. Now, for a single-player game, that's incredible. The community has eagerly awaited Bethesda's follow-up. However, in the time since Skyrim's release, which was over a decade ago, Bethesda's they've lost a lot of trust with the gaming community. Fallout 4, decent game, massive step backwards from what came before it. Fallout 76, complete disaster that took years to get in a decent spot. And now Starfield, the next major release on the schedule, has been delayed countless times to the point I'm starting to question if it's ever going to come out at all, let alone next year. Now, if we look onto the horizon, we see the promise of something else. Welcome to Video Game Leaks, everybody. Chaos here. Today, we're going to go over everything we know about ES6, Elder Scrolls 6. So stick around for the entire video because we have a lot to cover. Now, they confirmed a few years ago that ES6 was officially in early development, but work was not going to ramp up until after Starfield release. So don't get too excited about playing it, at least for another couple years. But we know quite a bit about the upcoming project thanks to official statements from Bethesda and reports from leakers and industry insiders. In this video, we're going to go over everything. We're going to clarify when something is a legend and when something is truly confirmed. But get ready for a lot of Elder Scrolls 6 information in this video. Drop a like, and here we go. The big question people are asking is, where is ES6 going to take place? After all, the location of an RPG can have a huge influence on whether or not people decide to put dozens or hundreds of hours into it. Now, we don't have anything official, but there's currently two major theories that have a decent amount of backing to them. As of New Year's tweet in late 2020, the official Elder Scrolls Twitter account tweeted a rather cryptic image of a map with a caption, "Transcribe the past and map the future." Now, location of the map was quickly identified as the community knew it was Hammerfell, a known location in the Elder Scrolls universe with a terrain that would actually line up with the landscapes we saw in the initial ES6 teaser trailer. The map itself, it was meant to tickle our nostalgia bells, keep us on the hook with memories of Skyrim, but the candles on top of it seemed to point at something greater, which would also line up with the caption, "Map the Future." This Hammerfell theory is one of the most popular in the Elder Scrolls community, but there is another that has quite a bit of weight to it and seems to connect with the map theory as well. The landscape shown off in the ES6 trailer was very rocky. It seemed to be high up, but then at E3 2021, there was an etching on a spaceship that looked suspiciously like an island or landmass of some kind. The Bethesda community quickly identified this etching as Iliac Bay, which is a location in Elder Scrolls universe that sits between Hammerfell and an area called High Rock. So we have two theories that actually point to kind of the same thing. The map tweeted out by Bethesda themselves seems to point to Hammerfell, while the ES6 teaser trailer showed off what could be High Rock, and then the Starfield trailer, well, they rather deliberately included an Easter egg that references both of those locations. So if you ask me, this means Elder Scrolls 6 is going to take place on a map that spans both Hammerfell and High Rock. Now, granted, RPG maps are huge anyway, and early entries in the Elder Scrolls franchise had some of the biggest game worlds ever created, so it's actually pretty likely that Hammerfell and High Rock will be only two of the included locations. But the fact that both of them have been indirectly referenced by Bethesda themselves seems to suggest they will play major parts in the story, similar to how Skyrim's map was a large province that included many smaller locations. So no, nothing is confirmed when it comes to location of Elder Scrolls 6, but with all the teases we've gotten, we can probably expect Hammerfell and High Rock to be integral parts of the world we play in. So that's the location. What about the gameplay? Well, that's where we kind of have a huge question mark over our heads. If we're going to be established with trends, we could probably expect similar gameplay to Oblivion, Skyrim, but likely with a number of new additions, kind of added with the benefit of over a decade of new ideas, right? It's been confirmed that Elder Scrolls 6 is being built on the Creation Engine 2, same as Starfield, which has given some fans a bit of a pause. Bethesda's Creation Engine is infamous in the gaming world because of the quirks that result in it, the Bethesda bugs. Now, Bethesda games are riddled with bugs, some big, some small, and most of that is due to their in-house engine, which has been in use for over a decade. It's getting old. Every Bethesda game from Skyrim to Fallout 76 was built on the Creation Engine, and it was certainly starting to show its age in the later games. Now, Bethesda officially retired that when it replaced it with the Creation Engine 2 for Starfield, and while it does visually look impressive, it remains to see how much of an improvement will actually be during the gameplay. If Starfield manages to launch bug-free or relatively bug-free, I don't see that happening. It will be a huge achievement for Bethesda, but if the game launches with the usual Bethesda bugs, it's very likely that the public's faith in ES6 will probably take a nosedive. I mean, after Fallout 76, I understand why people are skeptical of literally anything that Bethesda makes. Heck, even after Fallout 4, people were skeptical of the creation engine, so Starfield has a lot on its plate to prove. Now, Elder Scrolls 6 is confirmed to be on this CE2 engine, so at least it's not going to be on the same engine that we all despise, but this new engine has not proved itself. We'll know when Starfield launches. Now, the subject of an ES6 release date. It's tricky. The earliest reports of a release date came from an industry insider known by Michael Pachter years ago. Said the game would launch in 2017. Well, he obviously missed the mark, right? I don't know where he was getting his intel from because he wasn't even close. Bethesda themselves have made clear ES6 is not going to enter full production until after Starfield is finished, so that effectively means that every time Starfield gets delayed, so does ES6. The current release date for Starfield is it's unspecified, which is crazy. First half of 2023, but the lack of updates recently, it'll probably get delayed again. By the most generous estimates I can come up with, I don't think ES6 will come out for at least another 3 to 4 years after Starfield. So if Starfield truly does come out next year, you can probably expect to see ES6 in 2026 at the absolute earliest. And I know that is bad news, and honestly, that shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't. Such a storied franchise, it takes this long. I mean, personally, with the way Bethesda treats game development these days, I think 4 years after Starfield is likely. It would put the release date maybe 2027 if it comes out next year. Regardless, the game is a long ways away. And even if it miraculously came out next year, that would put an insane 12-year gap between it and Skyrim. But we're looking at more like a 15-year gap. Remember, Skyrim dropped in 2011. So this is going to be one of the longest waits between franchise entries in gaming history, no matter what happens. I think it's going to supersede the Duke Nukem wait. I do. That's crazy. I think the most generous estimates would put ES6 dropping 3 years after Starfield comes out. But personally, I'm not confident on that. I think it's going to be closer to 4. So if Starfield comes and sticks to its current schedule and we get it in the first half, quarter 1 or quarter 2 of next year, I think we see ES6 in 2027. I know that's not what you want to hear, but in all likelihood, that's probably the reality we're living in. Let me know what you guys think. Have you forgotten about it? Are you just going to pick it back up in 3 years when we actually know something? I'll see you soon.